Great. I think we're all set. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday. And today we're going to be doing a meditation practice. And actually, I made reference that I hadn't slept all night because for a very, very important reason. I didn't sleep all night because my head looked a bit like this. This is my notes from the night, and in those notes there is homeschooling notes, there's paying bills notes, there's technology notes, there's what classes can I offer notes, how am I going to survive this, there's ex-partner notes, how am I going to survive this, there's all of that stuff going on, and of course that's all coming from here. So at 2 a.m. in the morning, when this place is in control, you have absolutely no chance of going back to sleep. Sometimes it's best just to acknowledge that and to get the notepad out. I had a piece of toast and a nice cup of tea, and I'm not going to sweat it. Luckily, we're taking things pretty quietly right now, so you can hold space for a couple of sleepless nights without any problem. But the truth is, when you're in your heart space, that anxiety doesn't exist. It's actually entirely created by the mind. It's an illusion. It's like a puppet show that the mind is putting on, because most of those things that I'm juggling in my mind aren't in fact ever going to come into fruition. They're not real, and I have no control over them. So no matter how much I love to go through the logistics, I mean, I'm like addicted to writing out my weekly plan and what classes I can do and all of that, how am I going to make this rhythm flow? And actually what I'm really learning is, if I come into my heart space, I can totally surrender and trust that force of life that is guiding everything. And if we don't know that right now in this moment, we probably never will, because just look at what it is doing, what this universal force is doing. No one could ever have orchestrated this through mental activity. And the result is that everyone is staying home and having time to slow down. I'm not in any way saying that the pandemic is a good thing. I'm genuinely not. It's a horrific, horrific thing. But there is at its core an extraordinary ripple effect of slowing down and simplifying and turning away from the overconsumption. Of course, we've got the whole stockpiling thing, but apart that's just ego kicking in and mind kicking in. But in truth, we're not so interested in maybe having the next dress or handbag, because we're not going anywhere. So there's something very interesting happening there. Okay, so today, for my sake, if not for yours, we are going to drop into our heart space. So bring your hand up onto your heart. Close your eyelids. And take a nice deep breath in. And maybe breathing out through your mouth. And take a nice deep breath in again. Breathing out through your mouth. I often see the exhale as a handing over, releasing. Here you go, you deal with it. I don't know what to do with it. Inhaling, third time. Exhaling. And with the eyelids closed, just notice where your hand is over your heart. If you're able to tune in to the frequency of your heart. So we have these many layers of senses, and Einstein, in fact, often talked about the imaginary sense, the sense of being able to imagine feeling something. And this is the sense that I often work with in meditation, where rational mind is bombarding you with, what on earth is she talking about? I don't know what she's talking about. I can't feel anything. Well, maybe I can feel something. No, you're just imagining that. Instead of letting that rule the story, I love to dive into the imagined sense. Okay, I might be imagining it, but if I'm allowed to imagine it, how does it feel? How does my heart feel here? So, to give you some context for that, if I describe my heart now after the night that I've just had, and obviously the circumstances we find ourselves in, my heart feels like a little moth dancing around a flame. It's kind of a jaggedy, edgy movement and slightly spiky. So, for yourself, is there a metaphor or are there some words you can find to describe the way your heart is feeling? And then gently open your eyes and bring your hands down. And let your face soften into a smile. So, smiles are often the work of communicating to others. We have a social nervous system and we allow people to feel safe and to trust us by smiling. But there's a deeper layer to smiling. No one can see you now in your practice. When you smile, that has a ripple effect through every cell in your body. It's the very purest way to tell your body that you're safe. So find a smile that's nothing to do with anyone else. And it may not even come from your face. Usually it comes around the eyes, often it comes in the heart, sometimes in the belly. See if you can find that smile. The Tibetans, the Buddhists call it a Buddha state. And we're going to do a tiny bit of movement, very slow and very gentle, taking your right ear down to your right shoulder and noticing how that feels. And gently dropping chin down to chest. Left ear coming across to left shoulder, coming up and over. Always seeking out how you can make this feel a little bit better, a little bit sweeter. Taking the opposite direction, left ear to left shoulder, chin down to chest, right ear to right shoulder, and coming up and over one more time. And coming all the way back up to center. Just drop the chin so that the back of your neck can feel long. And take a little wriggle through your shoulders so that you're not accidentally taking the shoulders up around your ears. Bring your hands onto your knees and take some circles. And let's make these really cat-like, really slow. Inhaling as the circles come up and exhaling as the circles come down. Notice how the breath is already slowing down. So inside your body, the chemicals are changing just from the breath and just from the pace. Slowing everything down. And then with your hands on your knees, let's do some circles with the heart. So imagine your heart is drawing a circle, a circumference around your hips. Inhale as you come forwards. And exhale as you go back. And then change direction. Slowing down the breath, letting those edges, those little bits of jaggedy, soften like honey melting in the sunshine. Amazing, well done. And so, however is comfortable for you to sit in meditation, sitting in a chair is fine. You just want to have your spine straight. I wouldn't lie down myself because I would always fall asleep, but up to you. And personally, sleep is something of an elixir right now. So if it comes, yay. Keep that breath rolling nice and slow. Eyelids are down. One hand to heart, one hand to sternum, tuning in with the breath. Noticing for yourself where the ease is. How is the feeling of the inhale? How is the feeling of the exhale? And can we bring greater softness as we shine the light of our awareness on our breath? And feeling into that space between the breaths, the pause at the end of the inhale where the lungs are full, and the pause at the end of the exhale where the lungs are empty. Noticing where the ease is there. Where's the happier place? Is it with the lungs full or with the lungs empty? And very gently taking your awareness down into the pelvis. So the pelvic bowl is an entirely wild and amazing landscape. And just see if you can drop your awareness down there and engage your pelvic floor. So you're finding Mula Bandha. When I say engage, I mean activate, slightly contract. Feel an upward lift in the depths of the pelvis. And notice any shift, any change that happens into the feeling state of your body as you do that. Maybe it feels like an anchor, an anchoring into the physicality of your body. Maybe it feels like a grounding, rooting energy, connecting you to the earth. Maybe it just gives you access to a pool of resilience and courage deep within. Certainly there is strength here. You can keep your hands where they are or drop them down if they're starting to get tired. If any part of you becomes uncomfortable, pins and needles or any such thing, then just move. This is not a silent, still meditation. This is a slow and beautiful dive back into your essence. There's no real getting it wrong, no rules, just flowing breath. So as you take your next inhale, you might want to draw all your awareness down into your pelvis, and sometimes that can be almost like a movement of light. And then as you exhale, you can let that light travel up through the spine, coming up into your heart space. So you're visualizing, you're imagining, you're sensing. Inhaling, drawing light down to the pelvis. Exhaling, allowing light to travel up through the spine, up into the heart space. I love that the heart has chambers in it. It's these spaces, these sacred spaces that you can fill and expand. So as you exhale, pour that light into the chambers of your heart and let your heart soften and open and expand. Inhaling down into the landscape of the pelvis. Exhaling up through the rivers and the rivulets of the spine, coming up into your heart space. So we're creating this awareness of a flow, a tide, a current of energy. Imagery is often of light. You might have your own unique way of seeing it. And using your imagination is a gift, so enjoy that. Next, inhale, take the light down into the pelvis. And as you exhale, come up through the spine, up through the chambers of your heart, up through the throat and the neck, into the crown of your head. So you might want to come around the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. Exhaling down through the spine, right down into the core of the pelvis, the root of the torso. Inhaling up through the spine, through the chambers of the heart, through the throat, the neck, up to the third eye, maybe all the way up to the skull, the crown of your head. Exhaling and then inhaling right the way back down to source, coming into the pelvis. And as you let this visualization flow through you, you might find that you want to let your spine move. You might want to soften your shoulders. You might find a gentle undulation moving through your body. You might find you want to stay completely stationary. And just know that all of that is perfect. There is a current moving from pelvis through spine to heart to crown. And as we practice this meditation, we're just allowing that reality to reveal itself to us. Inhaling, drawing that life force energy down into the pelvis. Exhaling, flushing through all the way up to the crown of the head. Three more times. Notice the softness, the spaciousness. Bringing your hand to your heart again, just notice the feeling state. may or may not have changed. Let yourself smile to yourself here as you gently begin to open your eyes. Bringing your hands together, dropping your forehead to your fingertips. We close with the word namaste. The love inside of me sees the love inside of you. And we say that to every being on this planet. Namaste. So I'm going to